I am happy that you are going to have one of such skill at your disposal right now. What you are going to learn right now can turn your status around. It all depends on the approach you take after this training. Paint production business is highly lucrative. Most of you into buying of paint and paint product, also into property business, know what I'm talking about. It is a worth launching into. The beauty of it all is that you can start this business with any amount of capital you have. You don't need to have millions or secure a big production site before you can start paint production business, except you have a huge capital to start big. If not, venturing into paint production business is as good as starting now. All you need to have is a proper guidance and how to produce quality house paint for your daily consumption. So paint production business is what launching into. After the training, you can start as soon as possible because it's one business that you can start immediately. I won't promise you it's going to be easy because no business is easy, but I assure you of making money once you venture into paint production business. And of course, you must learn the secret in paint production making. Like I always advise my students, you can start paint production business with low as 10,000 naira to 100,000 naira for Nigerians and 152.67 to 1,526.75 Ghana cedis, why 14,431 to 144,301 for West African Ghana cedis from your home by producing and selling or supplying to direct users who can be your neighbor, family, or friends without branding of your bucket. It is very important you brand your bucket with your company or product name. It makes it look unique because the truth is that most people want to buy product branded names on bucket. They may not be buying the paint, but what attracts them is the branded name. It also sells you out. Then when your paint is being applied on the wall, and of course your paint must be of quality, that is when you have made a name for yourself in the paint production business. This is the secret many production people lack. A lot of them just beautify their bucket. Once the paint is applied on the wall, the paint or the owner of the building won't be impressed with the paint. That is why most companies don't last long in paint production business. I know most of you have come across a very simple paint bucket with no much design, but when you use the paint, you can testify to its uniqueness. So quality is the secret in paint production business. And how do you make quality paint with little capital and sell more to attract your potential customer? It's as simple as ABC. Buy your chemical from direct source and get it at a cheaper rate so you can be able to sell cheaper. You don't need to go and buy chemicals from people that have already bought and are reselling. Where paint chemicals are cheap, it's always good for you to source for them and buy your paint chemicals from them. Because also in Nigeria, as large as we are quickly growing, you see where buildings are they're building more buildings and new buildings are old buildings are being repainted. So this should give you the idea why launching into paint production business is very lucrative and it's worth starting, because you see around you people want to renovate their properties, people want to renovate their houses, schools are renovating their buildings, welcoming back their students, hotels are renovating their properties, and even your families are renovating their house. So we are in raw material chemical used in production of water-based paint. Number one chemical is your titanium dioxide, commonly known as titan in the market. It is whitish in color and sticky. when touched. They are in powder form. They gives paint coverage. Number 2 is your calcium carbonate, commonly called calcium in the market. They are known as extender and fillers of body paint. We have two types of calcium, which are white and off-white. White is good for brilliant white paint production, while off-white are used for other paint production. I'm not saying you cannot use white paint for other paint production, but I'm just telling you the difference between the two calcium. Number 2 is your caroline, another type of extender used in paint production. They are used to increase paint body thickness and increase plasticities. They are optional when producing emulsion acrylic paints, but they are must when producing test coat paint. When producing white paint, it is not advisable to use caroline because they are brownish in color, but you can use them to produce other colors of emulsion paint. Number 4 is your color pigment. We have two types, which are oxide and paste. They are in primary color. Pigments are used in producing different colors of paint. Color pigment comes in one oxide color. They are commonly known as oxide, and also they are called powder. In the market it is called oxide. We have them in yellow oxide, red oxide, blue oxide, green oxide, and red oxide. They are not known as powder in the market, like I said, but in oxide. You can buy them in kg when you want to produce in smaller quantity, but they come in 25 kg bags, and they are in powder form. Number 2 of your color oxide are your liquid color. They are known as paste, and they are in watery form. They come in yellow paste, red paste, blue paste, green paste, etc. They are called paste in the market and not liquid. And they in the market, when you buy them, it comes in a bottle form. So in our color mixing ebook, where we're going to be giving to those that are going to register, you will see how to mix different kind of colors. Number 5 chemicals are aluminium silicate. They are whitening agent. This chemical is used to achieve brightness in brilliant white paint. Number 6 is your juniper, commonly called juniper or soap. It is a chemical agent that helps in weathering the dispersion of solid components of your paint. It also helps to stabilize the paint so it doesn't separate into liquid form. Number 7 is your antifoamer, which are your defoamer. They help to break bubbles caused by your juniper. Number 6 is your body side. Your body side preserve the lifespan of your paint. Examples of your body side are your formalin and your mid view. Examples of your mid view are your anticide and mectapoba and other ones you can see in the market. So we have buffer. Buffer helps to prevent color fading in paint. And examples of your buffer are your EPW, sodium bonizer, and critical acid. So this helps to make your water-based paint color not fade. And I know most of us in paint production business, we have an idea what EPW is all about. It's very important to know this chemical in paint production making, so you don't miss the whole production process. So you listen to the voice note very well and know what each chemical functions are for in paint production making. You know the importance of your titanium, your calcium, your caroline, your color, how your color comes in powder form and liquid form. You know the right time where to use your liquid color and where to use your powder color. You also know that they have two types of calcium. Also, we have number 10 binders. This chemical is one of the most vital components of water-based paint. It plays a major and complementary roles in every aspect of your paint production. And we have two types of binder, which are your PVA, polyvinyl Akita, and your acrylic resin. Number 11 is your thickener, which is nitrosoft. Nitrosoft basic function, it builds up the paint and it helps the paint to be thickened during paint production. We have your ammonia. Your ammonia helps to facilitate the thickness of your paint after addition of your nitro salt. Also be careful with your ammonia because it's harmful, so it is advisable when you buy your ammonia from the market, you transfer it immediately into a stronger plastic container to prevent it from busting. Also, we have number 12, plasticizers. Your plasticizers, examples of your plasticizer are carbon pitty and caustic soda. They are whitish in color and it adds to paint, minimizing of cracking or flecking of your paint. You come across some paint after applying on the wall, you see it peeling off and it's cracking. So your plasticizers help your paint not to crack from wall and from it not to peel from walls after your paint has been applied on the wall for several months and several years. So take note of this chemical. It is very, very good and is also advisable to be added when you want to produce your super luxury Supertex emulsion paint. It's not only used in emulsion paint, it is also used in different types of paint and it does magic and wonders to your production. I know a lot of paint manufacturers in this training do not have an idea of what carbon pitty and caustic soda are for, so this is an opportunity for you. Thank you. So these are your chemical. This is nitrosoft. This is how it comes in 25 kg. This is your oxide. It's in powder form. Remember I told you have to dissolve it with water. This is your red oxide. It's in powder form. You have to also dissolve them in water before usage. And these are your oxides. This is black, red, yellow, green, orange, blue, and brown, and sand. In Nigeria, we usually don't have, most paint chemical seller usually don't have all of these. So what we do at times is to get the red and the yellow and mix them together to give you most of the colors, but few paint sellers has most of the oxide. So this is your marble dust. This is your sharp marble dust, your chemicals for paint production. This is your smooth marble dust, and this is your calcium. This is what it looks like. It comes in 50 kg. Also, this one down on the floor at the right hand side is your marble dust. It comes in 25 kg, and this is your binder. This is what it looks like. It comes in drum. Yeah, your acrylic and PVA. So this is your PVA binder. This is how it looks like in the measuring cup, and this is your acrylic binder. This is what it looks like. This is usually used in the mixing of emulsion paint, while this acrylic is usually used for the production of satin paint and slick paint. So this is how your chemicals, this is how they look like when you go to the chemical seller, the chemical market. You tell them the chemicals you want to use for paint production business. Thank you. This is what your paste look like. These are your red paste, green paste, blue paste, orange paste, and horse blood paste. So this is what they look like. This is the liquid form of this is black paste, this is blue paste. So in the market they are not called liquid paint, they are called, this is yellow paste, but this is the glitter one, because most people in paint production they mix glitters in the paint to achieve this glittering out look of the paint when applied on the wall. So these are your oxides. sorry, these are your pastes. This is how they look like. They're in liquid form. This is how they are. Yeah, thank you. This is how your acrylic resin looks like. The one on the right is the thick resin, while the one on the left is the light resin for the production of your oil paint. Thank you. So we are in machine tools used in producing paint. For proper mixing, the following tools are needed to produce paint in smaller or larger quantity. Number one is your weighing scale. Number two is your measuring container. Number three is your open drum as mixing tank and turning stick or iron as your mixer. Number four is your open drum as mixing tank and hand electrical mixing machine. Number five is your electrical powered hand mixer machine with plastic or metal drum. Number six is your high speed fabricated electric mixing machine. Number seven is open steel intensive mixing machine. Number 8 is your shop mill. Number 9 is your sand mill. Number 10 is your pebbles mill, bread or pebbles mill. Number 11 is your fabricated hydraulic paint mixing machine. Number 12 is your complete automated manufacturing machine. So require tools to start small paint production business. To start a small scale paint production business, you don't need much. In fact, you don't really need all these tools stated. What you need, number one, is space for production. Number two, a small mixing machine. We normally use a drilling machine with a fabricated shifter at the end to be able to mix the paint properly, or you use those newly hand mixer. Number three is your measuring scale, analog or digital, to take accurate measurement of the chemical. Number four is your mixing drum, big enough to contain the required quantity you want to produce. Number five is your packaging of containers or branded name of your plastic or iron container to package your product for sale. Number six is your protective wear, your laboratorial clothes, for example, your hand glove, your lab containers, etc. So for the packaging of your paint after it has been produced, which I'm going to be talking later on, and I'm going to be explaining the types of buckets used for the various types of packaging of paint, which I stated earlier on. We have two types of paint, which are your water-based paint and your oil-based paint. So we have different ways of packaging our paint. Most of us that are already into paint production know how to package most of this paint, but most of those paints are packaged in a wrong way. So this is for the machine, sorry. So we have so many machines used for the production of paint making. These are what you need for the production to start your paint production as soon as possible, but you're not advised to use all. So let me briefly explain them to you. Number one is your tinting machine. This is your tinting machine. This white one is your tinting machine for color mixing. Your number two is your manual mixer. This green one is your manual mixer. And you have your shot mill for your textile production. This is it. This is your storage drum where you store your paint after it's been produced. You can also use it for mixing, but this is for the storage of your paint. So this is your measuring cup. You use it to measure the liquid chemicals for paint production. This is your turning stick you use for the turning. This is your this is your hand mixer you use for the mixing of your paint. This is your drum for the turning of your paint. You don't really need this, but this is your complete laminated machine for paint mixing. This is your weighing scale, the digital one. So what you really need to start your paint production as soon as possible are your weighing scale, your mixing drum, your fabricated mixing machine, hand mixer, this is it, your turning stick, your measuring cup, and your storage drum for your storing. So these are what you need basically to start immediately. Thank you. So we are in packaging of your paint production. So number one, you are to use plastic bucket to package water-based paint, e.g. emulsion paint, Tuco paint, Tesco paint, satin paint, flex paint, slick paint, etc. This white plastic bucket comes in 4 liters and in 20 liters. Number two, you are to use iron containers in the packaging of your oil-based paint, e.g. iron gloss paint, anti-rust paint, etc. This iron containers comes in 4 liters, 15 liters, and in 20 liters. These buckets are used for the packaging of your water-based paint and your oil-based paint. When you go to the factory or the paint chemical seller where they sell all these plastic buckets, this is how you're going to buy them plain like this. So when you buy them plain like this, you take them to where you're doing your production and add your product inside. And as well, this is for your gloss iron container. It's for packaging of oil-based paint. Please take note. This is your iron container for the packaging of your oil-based paint. Those gloss paints you see in the market. This is your 4 liters for the packaging of your gloss paint. So these are your plain white plastic containers for the packaging of your water-based paint. This is 20 liters. This is 4 liters. So these plain plastic buckets are for the packaging of your water-based paint. Please take note. This is for the packaging of your water-based paint. This is also 20 liters again. Sorry, this is your iron containers for your packaging. So you know the different. This is our own company branded bucket. So when you, after you've bought your bucket plain, you are advisable to make sure you apply sticker or merging or printing on your iron container. This is gloss. This is for water-based paint emulsion. You see how our company bucket has been branded. So you have to brand them in this way. So for packaging of your product, after production, you have to package your product, which is done in 4 liters paint bucket or 20 liters paint plastic bucket or iron containers. Emulsion paint is packaged in 4 liters and in 20 liters. Satin paint is packaged in 4 liters, 5 liters, 12 liters, and 20 liters. Tesco paint is packaged only in 20 liters. Flexure paint is packaged in just only 20 liters. Marble Troy paint is packaged in just 20 liters. Gloss oil paint can be packaged in 4 liters iron container or 20 liters iron container depending on your supply. Wood polish paint is packaged in 20 liters plastic rubber container based on your client. You can as well to package it in 2 liters iron container. Your wood polish paint is packaged in your 2 liters iron container or plastic container. Floor paint can be packaged in your 4 liters or 20 liters plastic bucket or iron container. It depends. Your base coat paint is packaged in your 20 liters plastic bucket. Your undercoat paint is packaged in your 20 liters or 4 liters iron container. Your marble effect paint is packaged in your 20-liter plastic bucket. Your flexure paint is packaged in your 20 liters bucket. Then for your satin remover, that's the tie cleaner, you can package it in 5 liters rubber plastic, those normal 5 liters rubber plastic. Then your thinner for mixing oil paint can be also packaged in your 5-liter rubber container. Thank you. So step procedure for starting paint production business. Number 1, brimstone on a beautiful name to call your paint. Make sure the name is synonym with something like beauty, royalty, durability, trust, lux, quote, etc. Choose a name that trains to describe your paint and brand. One secret about choosing a name for your company is that you should make the name very easy to pronounce to make your customer remember your product name. In that way, your product will be easily recognized by everyone and they will remember your product. Remember, not all your customers are learned or attended school. So pick a name that will be easy for everyone to pronounce. Number 2, check the availability of your chosen name through market research so you don't use someone else's name for your business. Number 3, consult a lawyer to register your business name or incorporate your company name for your choice of name. For this, you can always look for a CAC agent and let them help you with the name registration. It is very easy. If you don't have one, trusted one, we can help you on that. It is very important, please, to register your name so someone else will not take or steal that name for you. This is a very important aspect in paint production. Please take note. But you can as well start your paint production business immediately. But as the money comes forth, please remember as soon as possible to register that name so it becomes yours. Number 4, make sure you go to a printer to help you with a receipt for selling to your customers where you can keep record. Number 2, letter heading, very important, so you can take business quotation when you go for contract. Number 3, complimentary card. This complimentary card is important because you give it out to people. It's a way of advertising yourself, and most of these engineers want you to give them your complimentary card. If possible, get a business account for your product, because immediately you have registered your business name, you can take that your CAC document and go to any bank and register that your brand name. So number 2, factors to consider before buying paint production. Number 1, availability of funds. Number 2, production formulation size. Number 3, production space. It is very important to consider this aspect. One is that when you have money, you can now buy most of all this machine I told you. So you have to consider your availability of funds. How much do you have before you can buy those equipment? If not, you can start as low as you have your cash. Thank you. Like I said, most of us already into paint production business knows that it is very lucrative business. You don't need to stop your job if you already have one. All you need to do is to get contract, produce your paint and get paid. Also, if you don't want to go into the market, you can sell your paint to engineers, site managers, or even individual that wants to paint their schools, hotel, churches, and house. Then at time goes on, you can now fully decide to go into paint production business full time, because most of us that have been into paint production business for so many years knows the lucrative of this business. And to start this paint production business, you don't need much. You can even start immediately after this free training. All you need is to know how to produce quality paint and brand your products and reach out to your customers. That is why we are here to teach you on how to produce quality paint and sell to make money from supplying your product. And if you are a painter, it's an advantage for you, because all you need is to produce quality paint and use it for your job. Also, if you're already into paint production business, we'll teach you how to make your paint products stand out from the rest and how to fix any issue with paint. We also will teach you how to produce different types of high grade paint to keep your customers, and how to mix different types of colors and make sure your paint doesn't fade from walls or crack. We'll also teach you more on how to brand and how to sell your paint in different states and countries without being there. So these are the things we are going to be teaching you in the mastering paint video training. We'll also be showing you videos of production process on how to produce these types of paint, especially for those of you that are new into paint production business. You need proper guide on how to start with your paint production business. So we've made it easier for you to venture into your paint production business as soon as possible by way guiding you on our daily mentorship, and also with our ebook manual, plus the videos you're going to be watching, seeing us while we produce this paint. So be rest assured that this paint production business you are about to venture into is going to be profitable for you, because you have proper guidance. Thank you. Thank you all for your time. So the class has come to an end. So this is what our certificate looks like. You're going to get a certificate of participation showing that you have been trained on the paint production, that's paint production and chemical selling. So for those of you that will be venturing into chemical selling and paint production in the future, this certificate is going to guide you, and it's going to guide you for a whole lot of things, especially for those of us that we are going to be establishing our factory. This certificate will be asked from you, proving that you've undergone this paint training. So this is why we issue a free certificate to all our students that is going to enroll for the mastering paint production training. So after the mastering paint production training, you'll be issued this certificate with your ebooks to guide you through your production process. And of course, we'll be here mentoring you throughout. Thank you.